Wrath of the Lich King is what we're going to be looking at today for today's class guide. Hello everyone, it's Ego and welcome back to the channel. So we're going to be doing exactly that. We're going to be looking at the Holy Paladin, we're going to look at the talents, we're going to look at the gear, we're going to look at the glyphs, we're going to look at the rotation, we're going to go into all of that fun stuff. And we're going to go obviously into a small class overview and what I think of the class so far. So let's dive right into it and see what we come up with. Hey everyone, before we continue, just a reminder, be sure to sub to the channel and like the video down below, and don't forget that memberships are now available for the channel, so if you want some awesome perks, take a look at it in the description. Thanks everyone, enjoy the rest of the video. Starting off obviously with the class overview. So the Holy Paladin has been an absolute joy to play in Wrath of the Lich King. I have a lot of fun and I typically top the healing charts with my Paladin. Now, to put it modestly, Holy Paladin is a top tier healer. There's nothing that compares to it. Now I know that there's other healers like Disciplined Priests and all that perform really well, but Holy Paladins are on a whole other level, especially for tank healing. You'll see in the rotation and you'll see in the talents and you'll see in the gear that it's a very simple class to pick up and it is just so fun. It is very rewarding. And originally I was prot and I had an off spec as a holy, but now I've gone pure holy. I still have like a tank off spec and stuff like that. But it is going to be a Holy Paladin for me. So yeah, that's pretty much my overview on the class. I really enjoy it. It's fun to play, easy to pick up. The itemization on the gear stat priority on the gear is really simple. Nothing really much else that you guys need to really know about the overview. It's really good. So let's dive into the nitty gritty of the guide and let's look at the talents and all this other stuff. Alright everyone, let's start going through the Holy Paladin talent. So let's dive right in. So we got the talent tree right here. We're going to go into the Holy Tree. We're going to pick 5 out of 5 out of Spiritual Focus. We're going to go down to Divine Intellect 5 out of 5. Grab 3 out of 3 in Healing Light. We're going to go grab Aura Mastery. We're going to go 5 out of 5 in Illumination. We're going to put 1 point into Improved Lay on Hands. We're going to go grab Improved Blessing of Wisdom 2 out of 2. Then we're going to go down into Divine Favor. We're going to pick up Sanctified Light. And then we're going to go over to Holy Power. We're going to pick up Holy Shock, which is an amazing ability and is also affected by your tier 2 piece. We go to Light's Grace, which gives your holy spells 100% chance to reduce the cast, or holy light spell 100% chance to reduce the cast time of your next holy light spell by 0.5 seconds. Holy Light will be your main healing ability alongside your Holy Shock. And then you have Holy Guidance. This is a big talent, and the reason why you're going to see in the gear section that your gems will primarily be intellect. It increases your spell power by 20% of your total intellect. So we're going to go 5 out of 5 into Holy Guidance. We're going to pick up Divine Illumination, which is really good whenever you need to do a lot of burst healing, especially when you need to spam Holy Light. It's going to reduce the cost of all spells by 50% for 15 seconds. We're going to go over to Judgments of the Pure, so increase the damage done by your Seal and Judgment spells by 25%, but that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at, and your Judgment spells increase the casting and melee haste by 15%. Again, this is a great combo with the Light's Grace, so it's going to make your Holy Light's minor right now at 1.1 seconds, I believe, when I have both of these buffs up. So again, very good for getting a lot of Holy Lights downrange, and then I pair it with a beautiful trinket that I have. Infusion of Light. So your Holy Shock critical hits reduce the cast time of your next flash of light by 1.5 seconds, or increase the critical chance of your next Holy Light by 20%. In addition, causes your flash of light to heal targets with Sacred Shield for an additional 100% over 12 seconds. So this is an amazing talent that you get. First and foremost, because if you get a Holy Shock crit, which you can then pair with Divine Favor if you need to do a quick burst heal, is you get a instant flash of light, essentially. I don't typically use this for a Holy Light. I typically use this, like I said, for a flash of light because of the fact that I can do an instant flash of light on my Sacred Shield target, who will then get a basically a hot. They will get a heal over time on them. So that's essentially what I do with that. Going over, we have Enlightened Judgments. Increase the range of your Judgment of Light and Judgment of Wisdom spells by 30 yards and increase your chance to hit by 4%. So in order to proc Judgments of the Pure, you're going to want to be using your Judgments, and you don't really want to be up close and personal at all times, unless you're going in there to get some mana, which we'll go over in the rotation guide. But you're going to be using your judgments because you want to pop Judgments of the Pure. So having this large range increase is awesome. And then this is the pinnacle of what makes Holy Paladin so powerful, and that is Beacon of Light. So the target becomes a beacon of light to all members of your party or raid within a 60-yard radius. Any heals you cast on party or raid members will also heal the beacon of light for 100% of the amount healed. Only one target can be a beacon of light at a time, and then I have a glyph that increases it from a 1-minute duration. So Beacon of Light, introduced in Wrath of the Lich King, is, like I said, the reason why Holy Paladins shine in Wrath is because of Beacon of Light. Because essentially what you could do is keep the Beacon of Light on a tank, and you could just literally heal anybody else in the party, and you will be healing your tank. And this is also good if ever you're doing things like Patchwork, where there's 2 tanks taking a lot of damage. Then you're able to multi-heal tanks for basically as if you're healing one person. It doesn't cost extra mana to heal somebody with a Beacon of Light. You're doing the exact same heal on another person free of mana cost. So essentially you're just getting double the value out of your heals at all times when you have a Beacon of Light on a target. So this is to me the reason why Paladins are so good, is the Beacon of Light. Now I know that like Disc Priests and stuff like that, they have like Power Word Shield and all that, but in my opinion, Holy Paladin is one of the top tier, if not the top tier healers in Wrath of the Lich King, and Beacon of Light is the reason why. So moving on, we go into the protection tree. We're going to go into Divinity, which increases all healing done by you and all healing effects on you by 5%. So we're looking at the healing done by you, so that's just an increase in your healing. Guardian's Favor, reduces the cooldown of your Hand of Protection by 2 minutes, and increases the Hand of Freedom by 4 seconds. So again, nice little quality of life there. We're going to put 3 into Anticipation to unlock the new tree, and we're going to go down to Divine Sacrifice. So right here we have 30% of all damage taken by party members within 30 yards is redirected to the Paladin, up to 40% of your maximum health. And then damage which reduces the Paladin below 20% health will break the effect. We're going to go into Toughness, 4 out of 5, and then we're going to go to Divine Guardian. When Divine Sacrifice is activated, you and your party and raid members within 30 yards take 20% reduced damage for 6 seconds. In addition, increases the duration of your Sacred Shield by 100% and the amount absorbed by 20%. And then for the quality of your heals, again, we are going to go into Improved Devotion Aura. So Improved Devotion Aura is going to increase all the healing on any targets affected by your auras by 6%. So this is going to be, again, just a straight up healing increase, not only from your own heals, but for heals from your entire party. Now, you don't touch the Retribution tree. You're going to stay with the talents that I already mentioned. Now, let's go into the glyphs. So the glyphs, one of the best glyphs you can get is the Glyph of Holy Light. So use a glyph from your Holy Light grants 10% of its heal amount for up to 5 friendly players within 8 yards of the initial target. So this is going to be another way that Paladins shine, because you're able to heal 5 targets. Yes, it's 10% of your Holy Light, but still, that is a lot of AoE healing coming from a Paladin. Glyph of Seal of Wisdom, so while Seal of Wisdom is active, the cost of your healing spells is reduced by 5%, so this is going to be just a straight up reduction on the mana cost of your spells, okay? Beacon of Light, so increase the duration of your Beacon of Light by 30 seconds. I have this to just make it a lot better for me. Honestly, it's a quality of life glyph. You're not having to constantly refresh your Beacon of Light, so it's saving you on mana, because it is a hefty spell when you look at it. So Glyph of Lay on Hands, this is a must-have as a Paladin, because you're reducing your cooldown of your Lay on Hands by 5 minutes. And then I have the Blessing of Might, so increase the duration of your Blessing of Might spell by 20 minutes when you cast it on yourself. Now, as a Holy Paladin, you're not going to use this. I just have it in here because what else am I going to put in here, really? You can have the Sense Undead, which increases all damage against undead, but in reality, what you're going to need as a Holy Paladin is going to just literally be the Lay on Hands and these 3 major glyphs. So that's going to be the talents. As far as the Holy, you go into the Protection, these are going to be your glyphs, so that's going to be the talents for the Holy Paladin. Okay, let's take a look at the gear for the Holy Paladin. So we're going to start right out of the gate by looking at the stat priority. So the first things first, as a Holy Paladin, you're going to be wanting Intellect, haste, and then you're going to want to go into mana per 5. You're going to go spell power and critical strike. Now, a couple things I want to note on. Spirit is not one of these stats that you're prioritizing. And I want to point it out right now. It is not a stat that you should push aside, or sorry, push other stats aside for. The reason why I say this is because paladins don't benefit from spirit like other classes, for example, druids, trees. They are able to gain stuff off of spirit. Now, paladins, as we looked in the talent section, they benefit from your intellect. So that is your primary stat that you will be chasing, is your intellect, because intellect also transfers into critical strike. So that's why crit strike rating is one of the least important stats that you're going to be going after, is because your intellect already transfers into crit. So what you're going to be doing is, of course, like I said, going for your intellect, going for your haste, you're going to go for your mana per 5. Okay, those are going to be your top 3. Spell power will come with the gear. That's going to happen. So intellect to increase your total spell power through the Holy Guidance talent. It increases your critical strike and it increases your health pool. Okay, so intellect, you want that. That's what you're going to be gemming yourself as. All intellect. Okay, the only thing that you're going to do is at least unlock your meta gem, and then the rest is all intellect. That's your gemming. It's simple. And then from there, you're going to go into haste rating. Now, the reason you want haste rating is because you want to bring your GCD down as far as possible, especially when you're using Holy Shock. Not only that, but you also want to increase your haste to get more Holy Lights down range. Enough said. Simple as that. Mana per 5. Now, this is a given. We are going to be using a lot of spells, and I know that we have ways to reduce the mana cost, like, for example, the Glyph of Seal of Wisdom. We have, obviously, we can go up to the target but and hit them and gain mana back, but we'll look at that in the rotation section of the guide. But mana per 5 is going to allow you to continue to regenerate mana and continue casting. Okay, so instead of having to wait that little window of time where your spirit's going to kick in, you could actually just have that passive regeneration of mana per 5. Okay, like I said, spell power, which is the next stat underneath mana per 5, that will come with your gear. You're obviously a spellcaster. You're going to be getting spell power on your gear. Critical strike rating, like I said, is going to come from your intellect primarily, but don't think that it's an absolute garbage stat. Just don't throw away haste and mana per 5 in exchange for crit, especially when, let's say, the piece has more intellect on it. So like I said, priority, intellect, haste, mana per 5, spell power, and crit. Okay, that's going to be your top. For your meta gem, very simple. You're going to be looking at Insightful Earthsiege Diamond, which is a 21 intellect and a chance to restore mana on spellcast. And then you're going to grab what I have is a Royal Twilight Opal in my helmet, which is going to give me that red or blue socket, which means that I am free to use yellow sockets now because I need one of each to unlock this meta. So what I will be using is the Brilliant Autumn's Glow. That will give me 16 intellect for that gem socket. Now, as far as enchants go, you're going to obviously want to go grab the Sons of Hodir, which I have not because I am bad at the game. You're going to want to go for a Helm enchant, which is going to come from, I believe, Kirin Tor. Yes, the Kirin Tor. It's going to come from the Kirin Tor. Revered. Okay. For Cloak, I have Haste. For Chest, obviously all stats. For Bracers, you're going to want to go for Intellect. You're going to want to go for Spell Power on the gloves. You're going to want to go for a belt buckle in your belt, get that extra gem so you can get that intellect. You're going to want to go for the spell power enchant. I know I don't have the best one, I get it, but it is the cheapest one that I can afford right now. You're going to go for an increase of speed. So originally you're going to want, I believe is the Tuskar Vitality. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, the Vitality enchant on your boots, but I just went for the minor speed increase. You want the speed. You want the movement speed because as you notice, we didn't go into Pursuit of Justice, so we want to have a little bit of movement increase. You can see that there's a lot of mana per 5 on my gear, which is what we need. For trinkets, you're going to want ideally the Soul Preserver from normal Stratholme. Now, a lot of people don't typically run normal Stratholme. I don't have it, and this is why. But I've been doing just fine with my current trinkets, but if you can get the Soul Preserver, get it. It's an 800, a chance for 800 mana reduction on your next spell, which I think procs off of the Holy Light Glyph, which means for every single person it has a chance to proc. Anyways, you're going to grab the Libram of Renewal. The Libram of Renewal is available at the badge vendor, and then you're going to put Intellect on your shield, and you're going to put Spell Power on your weapon, and those are my enchants that I use. Now, like I said, for the gear, prioritize your stats, intellect first and foremost, gem with the intellect gems, and you should be ready to rock and roll as far as your gear goes. Okay, so let's have a look at the rotation for the Holy Paladin. So we're going to start from scratch. We want Devotion Aura up to get that extra healing that we get from our talents and the protection tree, the improved Devotion Aura. Then we're going to go for the Seal of Wisdom to activate, again, the Glyph Seal of Wisdom, which is going to reduce the mana cost of our spells. Now, ideally, what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to make sure that you keep Beacon of Light on the tank, which in this case, the tank for this demonstration will be me. You're going to want to make sure you keep Sacred Shield on that target as well, and you're going to want to put a Flash of Light on them, which will put your healing over time effect on them. Now, Flash of Light doesn't really cost anything in the grand scheme of your mana, so whenever you see this buff about to fall off, just go ahead and refresh it. It's good for the healing over time, of course. Now, we're going to use this lovely Xoncha Troll as our test dummy for the healing, and we're going to use the test dummy as the test dummy. Now, whenever you're going into a fight, the first thing you want to do is you want to activate your Judgment. The reason why is because you're going to get the Judgments of the Pure, which is going to increase your melee and casting speed by 15%. This is going to give you those quick Holy Lights. So what you're going to do is activate your Judgment. You want to get a Holy Light off as soon as possible. I'm going to target him because he can't be used on my raid frames. And then you're going to start getting these faster flashes of light and Holy Lights. Okay, so that's going to be the buffs that you always want to maintain on yourself is Light's Grace and Judgments of the Pure. And then, like I said, you always want to keep the Beacon of Light and the Sacred Shield with the buff on your tanks. Now, a few key abilities that I want to go over is the Aura Mastery. So it causes your concentration aura to make it all affected targets immune to silence and interrupt effects, and it will improve the effect of other auras by 100%. So this is going to be just a boost to your auras. And then you've got Divine Plea, which is something that I use typically in between trash pulls, or if ever I'm in a really desperate need of mana and I have no other choice to use it in a fight, I will. Now, the reason I don't like to use it in a fight is because it reduces the healing of your spells by 50%. So, as you guys can see why I don't enjoy using this in a fight. In regards to other abilities, you have Divine Favor, so when activated gives your next Flash of Light, Holy Light, or Holy Shock a 100% critical effect chance, which this is good for, like I said, that burst healing, so you would go ahead and you would pop your Divine Favor, you would pop your Holy Shock, and you would immediately pop a Flash of Light, which is a huge burst heal, especially when you need to bring somebody up really quickly. As far as your Avenging Wrath, this is just, again, a healing increase, so if you feel like you need to, go ahead and pop that. Divine Illumination, I explained this in the talent section, but reduces the mana cost of all spells by 50%. So if I wanted to just go ahead and spam this, as you can see, my mana is not even being dented whatsoever with Divine Illumination. Okay, moving on, we have, I believe there was one more ability that I wanted to touch on here. Divine Sacrifice, we already don't know about all that jazz. I think that's the last ability I really wanted to touch on. Now, there's a couple macros that I do use, and there's also an add-on that I'm going to recommend to you guys. First and foremost is the Beacon of Light. So this is going to be a mouse over Beacon of Light macro, which I use all the time. So there it is. And the next macro that I really want to share with you all is going to be the Cleanse. So again, a mouse over Cleanse. We have the, what was the other one that I was using? Oh, right, the Salvation. So we have the Salvation one here. So this is a mouse over Hand of Salvation. So it's not very common, but in the event that you do have a DPS that is pumping hella threat, this is a mouse over Salvation so that you could bring their threat down just a tad. So, to just kind of go over everything that I said, and just summarize it better. So, you're going to want to have Devotion Aura up. You're going to want to have Seal of Wisdom up. You're going to want to open with a Judgment whenever you're going into a fight. You're obviously going to want to have Beacon of Light and Sacred Shield on your party and all that. And you're going to want the buff. But when you're going into a fight, you're going to want to open with a Judgment. You want to get your Holy Light up so that you have your Light's Grace. And you want to maintain this up. So even if you're throwing an overheal, I personally still do it. is you want to make sure you have your lights gray, so if ever you do need to make that speed heal on a holy light, you have that extra 0.4 seconds to do whatever you need to do. Now, when you're getting low on mana, this is what I wanted to talk about. When you're getting low on mana, make sure that you're in there and you're hitting the target, because your Seal of Wisdom will allow you to get mana back. So ideally, as a Holy Paladin, you shouldn't be running out of mana. And a lot of the times, whenever I'm really low on mana and I desperately need it quickly, I'll pop the Divine Plea and I'll just deal with it, and I'll do Seal of Wisdom at the same time. And that's going to give me a lot of mana back really quickly, especially if I've already used my potion. So that's how you're basically going to maintain your mana pool as a Holy Paladin. So that's going to be pretty much the rotation. If you guys have anything to add, by the way, let me know down in the comments, because I'm not by any means an absolute expert at Holy Paladin, and there's always so much more to learn. You know, you could do the cancel casting and stuff like that. That is another big thing. There's a bunch of highly insane stuff that you could do as a Holy Paladin. So if you have anything to add, please let me know down in the comments down below. I will absolutely not shun you for letting me know a couple new things, but that is going to be the rotation for the Holy Paladin. And that's going to be it for the guide, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you did make it to the end of the video, you're an absolute legend, and I appreciate you so very much. Now, I've been getting a lot of support with the channel, and I'm going to keep on saying this. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It really does. I can't explain how much it does. I hope to be doing a lot of this YouTube stuff for a good chunk of time to come. So once again, if you made it to the end of the video, thanks. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like if you guys like it, and also sub to the channel. And don't forget, memberships are now available for the channel. If you do want to join the channel and get some amazing perks, take a look down in the description. It's amazing, obviously. So that's that. Thank you everybody once again, and I will see you all in the next video.